When Congress doesn't pass bills agreeing to fund federal agencies and programs or extend funding, many parts of the government must stop non-essential work. That's a government shutdown. To avoid that, lawmakers often pass a continuing resolution or a stopgap funding bill while they negotiate longer bills. In 2025, Republicans in Congress proposed a clean continuing resolution, meaning one without major policy changes to keep the government open. Democrats refused to support it because it left out some healthcare provisions they consider essential. That disagreement is what led to the recent shutdown, and that is the topic of this week's Healthcare Triage. The central point of contention is ACA, or Affordable Care Act, premium tax credits, sometimes called subsidies, which is money the federal government gives to help people afford health insurance through the ACA marketplaces. These were made more generous during COVID, but the enhanced tax credits are set to expire at the end of the year unless Congress acts. If they lapse, ACA marketplace premium payments would, on average, more than double next year. Democrats argue that the expiration would cause serious harm, particularly because insurers in the marketplace have already proposed to increase premiums by a median of 18%. If the tax credits expire, we can expect out-of-pocket premiums for marketplace enrollees to increase by more than 75%. That would be painful for a lot of Americans, including small business owners, farmers, and ranchers. Because of this, Democratic lawmakers are insisting that any funding bill to reopen the government must include an extension of these subsidies to provide certainty to consumers. On the other side, many Republicans are reluctant to automatically extend the larger subsidies. Some say they want to debate changes, curtail costs, or phase them down. Others are okay with an extension, but only after the funding bill to reopen the government. They don't want to tie everything together. The dispute also involves Medicaid cuts and changes made earlier in 2025 through the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill. That law included reforms and cuts to Medicaid, as well as restrictions on some benefits for certain immigrant populations. Democrats are pushing to roll back those cuts or delay their effect in any funding deal. Republicans, however, are largely resistant to reversing those changes in a short-term funding bill, arguing that policy debate should wait for the regular budget process. So why the urgency from Democrats? A few timing factors make this fight especially pressing. First of all, open enrollment is looming. Marketplace enrollment for ACA plans begins on November 1st. Without clarity on subsidy levels, consumers may delay buying plans or face uncertainty about costs. Second, insurers are filing proposed rates. Many insurers are already projecting rate increases, in part because of uncertainty over subsidy levels. If the subsidies expire, marketplace enrollment is projected to decrease, and the health status of the people who remain enrolled will likely be worse than those who are able to opt out, which means higher healthcare spending. Keeping healthy people enrolled is key to keeping costs down, but that's harder to do when premiums spike. Third, delaying an extension of the subsidies means people will receive notices of premium increases, which can trigger premature backlash and confusion among current enrollees. Because of all this pressure, Democrats argue they cannot wait and negotiate the healthcare parts later, because by then, the damage will be done. Some Republicans have claimed Democrats are trying to use the shutdown to give free healthcare to undocumented immigrants, but that messaging is a bit misleading. Under federal law, undocumented immigrants are typically barred from getting many federal health benefits, including premium tax credits or Medicaid, with exceptions for emergency situations. What Democrats are asking is to extend subsidies and reverse certain cuts for people who are legally eligible, which includes those with legal immigration status. The bottom line is that the 2025 shutdown is not just about spending levels or general fiscal policy. It's centered on how and when to handle healthcare policy, especially the ACA subsidies. Democrats insist any funding bill must already include an extension of enhanced subsidies and rollback of Medicaid cuts. Republicans want to separate the spending decision from the healthcare debate. Because they couldn't bridge that divide before the funding deadline, government shut down. How quickly they resolve it and whether the subsidies get extended permanently or phased out remains unknown as of the day we filmed this video. Hey, did you enjoy this video? You might enjoy this previous video on the pitfalls of cost sharing. You can really tell us you liked it by liking the video down below and subscribing to the channel. Maybe going on over to patreon.com/healthcaretriage where you can help support the show and make it bigger and better. We'd especially like to thank our research associates, Edward Lillyholm and Joshua Crow, and of course, our Surgeon Admiral, Sam.